The Nigeria police has embarked on several raids across the country, recording huge successes. The police says it raided an illegal weapons manufacturing factory in Benue State, arrested suspected cultists in Delta State, and also intercepted some murder suspect in Kebbi State, all in a renewed effort to tackle crime and enhance internal security. Writing on the achievements, Fourth Public Relations Officer Olumuyiwa Adejobi says police operatives in Benue State uncovered an illegal arms manufacturing factory in Akamabe, Kwande local government area, leading to the arrest of 2 suspects during the raid. Officers recovered 9 locally fabricated pistols, an unfinished locally made AK-47 rifle, and numerous other tools used for arms production. Joining us to speak on issues concerning the police is retired Commissioner of Police, Dr. Emmanuel Ojukwu. He joins me live here in the studio. Thank you so much for your time. And good to see you. First time this year. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year too.
Yes. Let's get straight to, the conversation. The police has threatened legal action and giving Amnesty International 7 days ultimatum to retract their report about the end bad governance. And they are saying that the police, killed about 20 demonstrators during that protest. Speak to us. How would you respond? What's your initial thought when you hear this? Do you think the police is capable? Because they are saying even this report presented by the police or released by the police may not be true after all.
Well, I think the idea of the police taking legal action against Amnesty International or whatever body is a breath of fresh air. The police have been brutalized many years, bastardized. People say all manner of things. You see, this time around, maybe you don't need to turn the other cheek. The police can respond appropriately using due process. The police can sue. People have been suing police for one thing or the other, for misconduct, perceived misdoings or whatever. Now the police feels hot. It can respond appropriately using the legal framework available. And the police is the largest employer of lawyers in this country. Over 600 of them are Nigeria police. So I think they've got the wherewithal to do so. And the IG is saying that means it's a policy directive. An action will be taken, I believe so.
You don't think the Amnesty International report, you don't think it holds water? You don't think their findings from what they have found or what they've captured in that report, you don't think it's true?
You know, Amnesty has a mindset. When I was first PRO, they came out with one such publication that tried to rob the police. But unfortunately, I was there when they presented it, and I addressed them. They had it difficult that very period. Part of their preface or introduction is that the police is one of the law enforcement agencies they have targeted for criticism, and most times for bad, not for good. So the intention is to rubbish the police. I've read that report, Bloody August, call it Bloody August. It is sensational. Death review, getting this here and there. The facts there are not proven. We've seen pictures there. Nobody is moved by those things. If you allege, you prove. And I didn't see anywhere in that report where they said they confronted the police with these issues, and the police either refused it or the police respond in this way or the other one. So it's just one-sided, and somebody called it fake news. Fake news is news that is not balanced. If it's one-sided, tendentious, it is fake news. So if they keep doing that to rob the police, a major issue of this country, to bring it down and then to have a bite on the government of the day, I think the police is right to respond. It's up to them to prove whatever alleged. And any of those persons in that report, a relative or whatever in that report, a victim who survived it, of course it's a liberty to take action against the police as they've done before, and they get good respite. So if you allege, the law says you prove.
Dr. Ojukwu, if you look at, police, as we know, have been involved in judicial killing in the past, and some of those police force or have been even reprimanded. And then, of course, some of them, we heard that even some of them were also, will I say, taken into custody, and they will face the full wrath of the law. How do you reconcile the report of the Amnesty with some of the records of extrajudicial killing by the men of police force? How do you, if you put that side by side, don't you think that the Amnesty International report, as captured and as released now, has an element of truth in it?
Okay, that's what I call a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or confirmation bias. You start a research from the answer. They are looking for questions to fill in. That appears to be what's on ground. I've read that report. Now, the police over the years sometimes got involved in a misuse of power, even excessive use of power. These issues are issues of discipline and issues of that some of them are criminal offenses.
Right.
A good number of officers who got involved in this were actually sanctioned internally, taken to court. Some were sentenced to death. It's not as if the police condones it or covers it, like it's systemic, it's a policy. No. There are rules governing use of firearms in the police force. There's a continuum of force. There's a gradation.
All right.
Main purpose of police is force. And then there's every force used, most forces used are lethal, but there's some are more lethal than the other ones. And police have been taught every now and then, I've been involved in such trainings, to respect human rights. The most important of which is life. If life goes, other rights go. And any officer who goes out of his way to do what he ought not to do, he will face the music. Police doesn't cover such things.
I don't know if you are aware of the findings from the police, the reports.
Yes.
There's a committee that was set up by the police force, to investigate whether there was truly killings across the country.
Yes.
But then, we understand that that committee was only made up of members of the police force. There's no extra outside members or any other agency that is represented in that committee. So the question a lot of people are asking is that, can the police be a judge in its own case? Why don't you invite, maybe members of the Human Rights, Commission to come around and investigate this situation? So how do you respond to that concern?
It lies with oversight agencies. There are so many agencies that oversight police. They can do that. And when they find the police culpable or liable, police will face the music. Now, but the police itself is self-cleansing. That report came out, and the police actually felt hurt by that. Why should this happen under my nose? He set up a committee. There's a special investigation panel. It's not a child's play. And that panel did a thorough job. I followed what they've done, and I've seen the report they've written. So the police can examine itself as a responsive organization. We are not sleeping on this issue. We regard it as is critical. Nigerians, 24 lives. That is huge. That is huge. So as a good organization that is responsive, they responded to it to find out exactly what happened by doing an inner soul searching. And that's the report. They found out all the things, most of the things said by Amnesty International were just figments of their own imagination. So it is up to them to prove that these things we said, we stand by them. And now maybe in the court of law, we may hear more.
Okay. Speak to us more on that report, because some people are saying whether you think that findings will be trusted by the Nigerian public, or perhaps view with public skepticism, because those who are affected perhaps may not have to roll, especially I'm talking about not only in 2024 now. If you remember the 2020, it also and bad governance took place. And NSAS, thank you for that. NSAS also happened at that time. And a lot of people were affected. Police was also accused, apart from the army, that also was also part of that. Police was also accused as well. So speak to us about the reputation of the Nigerian police force. Why should we trust any report that comes out from the police?
Okay, the trust gap between the police and the public is not a new thing. It's been there since creation of the police. Nigeria police was not created for Nigerians to serve Nigerians. It was a foreign force, even though made of Nigerians, but to brutalize Nigerians. And the police was being done by brawn, not brain. The more difficult you were, the more brutal you were, the better a police officer you were. But that was then. The music has changed, so that step has changed. We are now into a democracy. And we've been teaching our police officers to follow the rules of the game. Now, in community policing, you engage, it is the police and the public. It's been difficult because old habits die hard. People already have a predetermined perception of the police based on their experiences, what they had, and all that. So they believe nothing good can ever come out from the police. Nothing good will come from Nazareth. But it's not true. The police has some of the best brains, and it does not tolerate iniquity in its ranks. So it is up to the public to believe. People also have trust problems in their lives based on what they've seen, not just with the police. There's also a trust gap between Nigerians and the government of the day. And the police is the visible agent of government.
Because of our time, just in 30 seconds, what sort of, in terms of reforms or recommendation for training, perhaps maybe that will give a bit of good perception of the police force to every Nigerian. So speak to that before I'll let you go. Given your experience as a commissioner of police, you've been there, you saw it all. So at the moment, what do you think is lacking? What do we need to fix going forward? If you can do that in 30 seconds.
We need to fix everything in Nigeria. There's hardly a system that works. So police mustn't work because others are working.
All right.
Everything has to work. The reform of Nigeria police has to be holistic in terms of recruitment, in terms of welfare, in terms of training. A few days ago, IG was asking for money to train police officers. If you don't train people, you can't blame them. It will not be fair to blame them having not trained them.
I think we need to leave it there. Thank you so much, Retired Commissioner of Police, Dr. Ojukwu. Thank you for coming on Newsnight.
Thanks for having me.